Most of us dream of financial freedom, but without these 7 simple tools put into place into your lifestyle, then you will find that you keep making the same mistakes over and over again and never quite reaching your goal. Hi, my name's Samantha and I am the Budget Mum UK. We talk about all things to do with financing, budgeting, savings and investments on this channel, and how to make the most of your money without having to spend too much. I managed to budget my way out of over £100,000 worth of debt, which was very kindly left to me by my ex-husband. But now I find myself in a great place where I'm free of debt and I've got lots of savings and investments in place, making sure that I can live a really great lifestyle without having to spend too much money. These next 7 tips are things that I had to put into place in order to make sure that I could eradicate all debt, but then also use them again in different capacities to start to save and earn a little bit more. First up is keeping your head in the sand. It is so easy to ignore those letters that keep coming to the door, to just not open them, to not actually look at your bank account or your bank statement on a regular basis, because we always think that if we don't look at it, if we haven't seen it, then surely it isn't there. To start to make any kind of significant change, whether that's to eradicate debt or to start to save your money and make it grow, you need to be able to see exactly what is going on, and this needs to be a daily habit. At least once a day you should be checking in on your account. We're now living in a world where it's so much easier to be able to access our account. You no longer have to wait every single month for the paper bank statement to come through your door. You don't have to go to an ATM or a cash machine or a cash point or even a bank to ask how much is left in your account. You've got everything at the tip of your fingers. It's so much easier now to stay in control. Once you've got all the numbers and all the facts, that's when you can start to put things into place. But by ignoring things, how could you possibly start to make any progress? You need to know exactly where your starting point is in order to work out where your end point can be, and then all the little hurdles in between that you're going to be able to make and save money and to start to cut down on your debt that you might have. I keep this as a habit daily. I'll always check in the morning and then later on in the afternoon and sometimes in the evening as well. Not only does it mean that you can keep an eye on your spending or when direct debits are coming out, but it also helps to avoid any scams, or if anyone's been able to access your account without your knowledge, you can keep an eye on it and make sure that's not happening either. The second thing is obsessively comparing. We are living in a really fast-paced environment where social media is literally at the tips of your fingers. It is so much easier to see exactly what's going on in somebody else's life and focusing on all those things that they're achieving, or at least what they are telling you that they are achieving. We should know by now that whatever you see online doesn't mean that it is real, doesn't mean that somebody else is actually living the lifestyle that they are claiming to. Just because somebody has just bought a new car doesn't mean that they could actually afford it. You don't know whether they've got themselves into a lot of debt to actually get there in the first place, or what they've done to earn it, or if it's even been bought for them by somebody else. We need to stop comparing what somebody else has to what we have or what we would like to achieve, because not only is it quite negative for us mentally and emotionally, but it also then could encourage you to go ahead and start spending money that you have been working hard to save or that you have been trying to put to one side, because you might feel like if your neighbour's got something, then you would like that too. One person's journey is completely different to your own, and you need to bear that in mind as you're going through. Be happy with what you've got and think about your long-term goals. If your long-term goals is to save money or to get rid of your debt, that should be your focus and not what latest car or the next holiday that your friend or neighbour or companion is going on. The third thing is not turning your capital. So I often have people in my DMs or just reaching out and asking me if I could have a look at their accounts or talk them through different savings and different investments and things like that. And I'm always happy to try and help where I can. But what I will find then is that somebody's got money set to one side in just a regular old bank, or that they're doing the cash stuffing and then not later going on and transferring it into a high yield interest savings account, which is where we talk about turning your capital. It's really easy just to leave it stuffed under the mattress or just in a regular checking account, but that money needs to be working and investing in you and your time and your finances. There's different ways that you can do this. So that's things like you can put it into your ISAs and your high interest accounts, but also think about investing in you. If you know that by spending so much money on a new course or a little bit of training or learning a different skill would mean that ultimately you'd then be able to use that new learning, that new education, that new skill to then bring in more income, and this would be a really good source of investment. Investing in yourself is really, really important. If you want to set up a small business, someone somewhere whatever along those lines, it's going to have to put some money into a pot to make that start. For me, when I was setting up my own small Etsy store business, I had to invest a little bit of money of my own that I was saving into my store. I had to buy stock, I had to buy the equipment, I had to buy machines, I had to buy lots of other little things that you probably didn't consider. But the end result is now that I no longer work full-time teaching, and it means that I've now got a business that's sustainable and is making sure that I'm living a thriving lifestyle. I can be around for my children, take them to school, pick them up, and I'm at home during the day doing the things that I really enjoy. So as you can see, that initial investment in the first instance was certainly worth it in the end. The fourth thing is not assigning yourself an hourly rate. If you work a regular 9 to 5 job, you're either working for a salary or you'll be working on an hourly rate. So whatever that might be the equivalent to, if your hourly rate, for example, is £15 an hour, and you know that there's somebody who could come in and do the cleaning for you for £12 an hour, whilst you can continue to earn your £15 an hour, that is a worthwhile outsourcing. If there's other jobs that you don't enjoy doing, that you know that you could actually maybe get a double time on, or you could get some overtime on, think about how much it costs for you to spend the money for somebody else to do it compared to how much you could earn per hour. Once you know your hourly rate, then you can start to assign different roles to different people, and thinking about the fact that you could then get extra cash on top of what you could spend, especially if it's a job that you don't enjoy doing. Some people might not enjoy doing the gardening, or they might not enjoy doing the ironing, and that could be a task that you could outsource so that you could either invest more time and do some more work to earn more money, or just get a little bit of relaxation time, which in itself is really, really important as well. The fifth thing is not living within the 90%. So I often talk about savings money and saving and investments, but the really key thing is to start to live below your means, because once we start to live below our means, it becomes so much easier then to start saving, investing, and paying off debt. If you've got an annual salary of £20,000, you should be able to think about living only on £18,000. That other £2,000 either goes towards savings, or if you're not yet in that position, put it towards any debt. And I would always recommend paying off the highest interest debt first, because even though it feels like a really hard thing to do, those little indents in that really high interest debt, it's going to make a massive difference ultimately, even if it feels like it's taken a lot longer than you would like it to. The fact is that debt's not going to go away by itself. The sooner you can start to get rid of it or bring that down, the better you will feel, and then you can start to pay off any other debts that you might have. Once you've got all those done, then that money that you're so used to spending on debt and for nothing, you can then start to put towards savings. You're already used to living on a lower income, so therefore it would be foolish to then start re-spending it again. Number 6 is focusing on cutting back instead of making more. Now, whilst I will always tell you that you should sit down, go through your finances and look in places where you are wasting money, where money is just disappearing without you even realising it, or ways that you can reduce your outgoings and your spendings, yes, that is absolutely key. But what you should also be doing at the same time, running parallel, is looking at how you can make more money, because those little changes of cutting back will only be little changes. They're only going to be a few pounds here or there, hopefully, and you haven't gone too far away. But what would have an even better impact on your financial situation is if you could get more money. So if you've done things like that, investing in yourself, which I talked about earlier on, maybe now you can go and approach your boss and say, look, I'm now skilled in this area, I can take on these extra responsibilities, but as recompense, I would like a pay rise. Or start to progress yourself through a career ladder. Maybe look at other roles outside of where you currently are, because you've now got these new skills. If you are asking for a pay rise within your current role, make sure you go backed up with evidence. If you can sit there and think, do you know what, I don't actually pull my weight in my job and I'm not really making much progress, then maybe you don't deserve one. But if you can sit there and go, look, I know I've done this, and here's the proof, and this is all the overtime I've done for nothing, or this is all the things that, and the impact that I've had on your business, then therefore that has got a value, and you would like to see that being reflected in your wage. If you can get a £5,000 pay increase, that is so much more better than being able to save £100 a month by cutting back in certain areas. The seventh final thing, and you know you will have heard this from me several times before, but it is just not tracking your expenses. If you are not sat down every single month or every single week or even every single day looking at your expenses, looking at where you're spending money, looking at where your money is coming in, then you're already fighting a losing battle. It's the equivalent of driving your car around without realising how much petrol is left in your car and whether you can actually get from point A to point B. If you don't know exactly what's coming in, how do you know if you can afford those bills? If you don't know exactly what you're spending, how do you know how you can fit fix it going forward. It's quite a lot of these tips combined. It's things like the head in the sand, the turning of your capital. It's all those things that sort of come together in this final point, where if you've got everything else tied up together and you're on the ball and you are fully going into this with your eyes wide open, you know exactly what's happening in your own life as well you should, then you're already making a great headway. These are the 7 tips I would say would help you stop losing money and start to make some great progress in your own independent journey for financial freedom. If you've liked this video, please give a thumbs up or a comment, and I would love it if you subscribe. There are lots more videos just like this one coming up. Have yourself an amazing day, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.